Hi guys, Adam here with Adam L Photography and Blue Pacific Media, and today we're talking about drones. Now the title of this video is Man, I Hate Drones. And the reason being is mainly due to this guy over here, which is the first generation DJI Phantom quadcopter. I'm going to talk a little bit about that quadcopter, why I end up hating drones so much, and then I'll go on to talk about this new guy here, which is the Phantom 3 Professional. Talk a little bit about why I decided to buy it and what I've come across since buying that. Now, originally, DJI, one of my clients worked for DJI, and as a little thank you, sent me the Phantom, the original Phantom, basically as a semi-test run. It had only been released a few weeks prior to receiving it. It was on back order, so it was quite a bonus to get it. I was really excited about it. Heard some great things about drones. Seen a little bit of footage, but not a lot. And I was really excited to get my hands on it and fly it. And I figured, how hard could it be? Turned out, for me personally, incredibly hard, very challenging. I'm not one of these people that can sort of stand here, look up in the sky at something moving around and control it from here. I had so much difficulty getting my mind in the right place to control the drone, end up flying in the wrong direction. Long story short, after several flights, getting some pretty decent footage, ended up hitting it into a tree while trying to film a waterfall, and yeah, dropped it in the water. So since then, it's been pretty haywire, so I haven't really used it for going on, well, about a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. Maybe a bit longer, yeah, 2.5 years. So I was really unimpressed with it. I knew that it had a lot to do with my skill set. I wasn't really the kind of person that could fly drones comfortably. I wasn't a video gamer. I hadn't spent a lot of time with any kind of RC stuff, so I wasn't completely blaming DJI or the Phantom, but it just was, this drone thing is not really for me. Just trying to see this small little helicopter, you know, this quadcopter, once you get to any kind of altitude. I mean, when I say any kind of altitude, even just 10, 15 meters, it becomes so small. And then you're trying to figure out which way it's going to go, which direction it's facing as to which way it was going to go, based on, as you can see, I'll pick it up here. It's pretty smashed up and bashed up, but based on these, you know, these stripes here represent the front end, which is the way the camera will point, and that's going to be forward and back. But when you're looking at it from below, you're trying to figure it out from these like flashing lights and stuff, and it was just a lot of information to process, and I just never could get my head around it. Like I say, I ended up crashing the thing, and then I just had no confidence to fly it anymore. Now, as you can see, I've got a ton of stuff taped on this. This is I put like a, what do you call it, a point of view camera system on there. It was by a company called Fat Shark, and mounting it on the helicopter itself was a bit of a challenge. I ended up just taping it down using electrical tape, and it ran quite well. But the problem I found with that too is that when you put the Fat Shark goggles on, not only was the video quality not exceptional, but then you were so immersed because you had your eyes completely covered with these goggles. I've got those away in a box at the moment. I won't worry about going into those. But you know, I could hear things around me, but I was seeing through these goggles, and again, I just couldn't get my mindset around it. So I had a real hard time with droning, and eventually just sort of packed it in. Wasn't that interested in doing it. But recent events have come through that I've been getting a lot more sort of corporate clients asking for video work, and of course now with drone footage being so mainstream, everyone wants it. And to basically hire a team to come out and film the drone segments for my videos was just not cost effective. So I've gone ahead and after much deliberation and not really wanting to do it, I decided to go ahead and buy the new Phantom 3 Professional. Now, the reason I went with this one over the Inspire was that the Inspire, of course, was in a different price bracket, and I didn't really want to spend that much money on something that I wasn't really comfortable doing. But the other reason, which was actually the bigger reason for the two, was just the Inspire size. It's just such a big drone. and a lot of my work involves traveling to locations, and adding that plus my regular video equipment, it just turned into just far too much size. I mean, the case that I would need to put that Inspire 1 into, which I'd like a nice protective case like the one I have here, it's just huge, and logistically it was a bit of a nightmare. So price bracket and size, I ended up going with the Phantom 3, and I was really hesitant. A lot of times when I'll purchase a new bit of kit, I'm really excited when it arrives. I want to check it out and test it out. With this one, I was still pretty apprehensive. But anyway, I plugged it in and set it all up and took it for a flight. And surprisingly, the connection through the LightBridge technology to your to the little tablet or iPhone, I use my iPhone 5 for this, just gave you that connection to where the drone was going, being able to see it live through the camera, and clearly live through the camera, not like before where you were watching like through the goggles or something. You'd be watching in standard definition and it'd be really jumpy and slightly delayed, etc. This is just lightning fast. It's like real time. It's really high quality, and it really gives you a sense that, okay, I know where I'm going, I can see where I'm going, and you can just fly this drone. So even for someone like me who really doesn't like flying drones, the Phantom 3 is surprisingly easy to fly. Almost to the point where I was kind of enjoying myself a little bit flying it. Still a little bit nervous, but I can see that passing very quickly. I've only taken it for like 3 flights so far. First flight was just very gingerly, keeping low altitude, flying very low over a big grass space. Today, I end up taking it up to about 100 meters altitude and about 600-700 meters distance from where I was, flying over a bit of water, over trees. And if the weather holds, then tomorrow I'm going to take it for a real decent flight, try to get it a little bit higher and a little bit further away, maybe over some waves out in the ocean. So that's going to be an interesting test. But yeah, I thought this video would be really helpful for people who are like me that had tried one of the earlier drones and really found it difficult and really didn't know whether or not droning was going to be something that they could do. And we're looking at one of the newer drones because there is a lot of hype around these drones. There's a lot of people talking about how wonderful and easy they are to fly, and there's a lot of cool videos out there of people doing some really cool footage with it. And I got to tell you, it is surprisingly easy to do. To get great footage out of these things, of course, you really need to know how to work video. You're going to really need to know how to process your video, but not only processing it, but what the settings you're going to want to use to capture the video so it can be processed. And I'm not going to go into all those details here, but what I will tell you is that if you're expecting to pull it out the box, put it into 4K and fly it away and get perfect footage, you might need to do some research. But essentially the gimbal works really well. It's very smooth. In GPS mode, the GPS mode on the original Phantom, shocking. The thing used to just skip about, and I mean it could be because I'm on an island, Okinawa, a little bit more remote than say someone in mainland US, but I used to find the thing would just skip around a lot. The new one, really stable, really steady. I was just surprised at how little movement it had with the GPS. I tried the return home function yesterday on my first flight, and that was a little bit scary at first because suddenly the Phantom will shoot up to a higher altitude before, and then it slowly comes back. But when you hit that button and it just shoots off, you're like, well, where are you going? You kind of expect it just to come straight back at its altitude that it's at, but it takes off to a pretty decent height before returning home. But it did. It returned home within about 20 centimeters of where I actually took off from, which was the top of my case. I had to maneuver it slightly because I thought the blades might hit the case when it came down. That's how close it was on the return home function. So yeah, for the price bracket, yeah, it's really decent bit of kit for the price. I'm going to go and do a full review of this later, where I'm going to show a lot more footage and stuff that I've taken with it. But just to let you know that, yeah, I'm really impressed with this. The fact that the camera can also shoot in DNG RAW for stills is really good. What I would like to have seen possibly with that, the video functions on this would have been a slightly higher frame rate. At the moment, you can shoot your 4K, true 4K and Ultra HD 4K, I think that's what it's called, at 24 or 30 frames a second in the NTSC field, or you can shoot your 1080 at up to 60 frames a second, 720 also. And I would really have liked to seen, you know, with the way technology is at the moment, with what the GoPros, etc. are doing, I would like to have seen the camera be able to do at least 120 FPS at 1080. But, you know, for what I'm using it for, you really want to shoot at 24 frames to get that cinematic look. So I'll probably be doing a lot of shooting. I'd say I'll probably shoot most of my stuff in 4K. The processing on that is a little bit labor intensive, but it's just good to have that extra detail on your shots. But who knows, maybe I'll be shooting more 1080. It just depends on what the shoot will call for. But having all those functions is fantastic. What I would recommend to do if you are going to pick up this Phantom is have a look at these hard cases. This is a hard case by, sorry, I've forgotten the company name. Where is it? HPRC. It's an Italian company. It's basically like a Pelican case. Let me just take this guy off of here, and I'll open it up. And it came all fully cut out for the Phantom. So I'm not sure if you can see on this angle, but it's got enough slots for 4 batteries. You can even stick a GoPro in there if you want to as well, the controller and the Phantom as well. I bought a set of prop guards for it as well, which is another thing that you really want to keep an eye on, because it's very easy to damage these props, and once they are damaged, then they're out of balance, which will affect the performance of the stability of the unit while it's in flight. And the other thing you want to look at too, if you are going to be doing filming with it, is picking up an ND filter. Now I picked up, this is a ND16 with a circular polarizer built in by Snake River Prototyping. So far so good. It looks really good. It's a very dark filter, but I shoot a lot in really bright daylight here on this tropical island. So that's just a little bit of the kit that I picked up to go with it. I'll take that back out of the box. But yeah, so the video is called I Hate Drones, and the truth is, up until this moment, yeah, I really didn't like droning. Really wasn't impressed by it. Love the footage, love what people are doing with them, but personally was just really not feeling it as something that I was going to be comfortable including in my company's profile. But now playing with the Phantom 3 Professional, who knows? Yeah, I could end up enjoying it a lot more. At the moment, I do feel confident to take it out. I haven't tried it in like high winds, etc. like that, which undoubtedly I will have to do. But for the time being, in this price bracket, yeah, I think it's a good bit of kit, and something that's going to be definitely useful to have in my company's arsenal from here on out. So you might see a lot more aerial photography and videography if you keep your eyes on my channel or join me on Facebook. Now, while we're on that, I'll just put my Facebook and Twitter, etc. at the end of this video. Please take 2 seconds to subscribe and follow me on the social media. I'm going to be doing a lot more reviews on this kind of stuff, as well as showing some really beautiful, fairly undocumented parts of Okinawa and the island chains around here over the next few months. So you don't want to miss that. Got a question? Drop it in the comments below, and I'll try to answer. But other than that, if you're looking for a drone, this is not a bad one. This is Adam L. Happy shooting.